I hope for USG they can drag out this match as long as you dragged out that intro.
Mate,
That's pretty
I think
impressive.
I did all right.
Yeah, it was good. Now, I'm intrigued. I think the big storyline for this heading into the ban phase is, does USG take Montang off the board? Obviously, Anaton, arguably the best Montang player in the entire world. Never mind APAC, never mind Japan, never mind in this match. So, big risk / reward if you take him off the board or don't. And yeah, there we go. Anaton's already been nerfed off the board, but it's not like he's an absolute Montang one trick. Anaton can step into other shoes, so not the end of the world here for Cyclops, but obviously a defensive ban from USG.
Yeah, I mean, when you give Anaton a gun, it's not really much better than giving him the shield. Oh, I love this though. Cyclops banning the Nook. That is, they will. Oh, I see your counter ban onto Anaton. Well, we're just going to counter you straight back. USG have run a lot of Nook. A lot of teams in the tournament have run a lot of it. Remember this morning, what was that player that just snuck into sight?
It was Kawao. It was Kawao.
Yeah.
He literally was just like, whatever the main door of the map was, whether it be like Oregon front door or Cafe front door, he'd just spray it down, walk in, and find kills. Like, that's the depth of the analysis I can offer on that Nook play. So I guess Cyclops not wanting to get caught off guard by that. It's something they don't need to worry about. Means that, for example, they don't need to run like proximity sensors or barbed wire if they don't really want to, because that's not as much of a threat. In terms of the final two bans on the defense, Valk, very expected. Her presence at the moment is just skyrocketed. And Melusi, despite the Banshees being nerfed a slight wee bit, obviously annoying to play against if you want to be aggressive. So that's going to be out as well.
Yeah, we've seen so much Melusi bans from USG. They have really been loving that, and I think it kind of goes part and parcel with the Nook play and that kind of rush sight mentality that you mentioned, particularly from Kawao. It's much easier to do that when there's no Banshee just slowing you down. And I wonder whether eventually when CAG switch onto that defense, if we'll see a lot of traps from them to try and stop that. But nonetheless, for now, they start on the attacking side. Chalet, typically an attacker-sided map, of course, Cyclops will have chosen that as their side. Usually when one team picks the map, the other team picks the starting side. And so Cyclops looking to make a statement here. If they can do it away 2-0, there will be absolutely no doubt in anyone's mind who the kings of Japan are, who the emperors of Japan are. That is no doubt going to be Cyclops if they can win it here.
Well, we're headed to round number 1. Ying being already selected here by CAG, so suggesting we might see a fair amount of aggression. 4 names available as well, and the Nomad. I think the Nomad is probably going to be quite critical. USG particularly, I mean, it's more so on their attack, but also their defense to an extent as well. Quite unpredictable. They were playing routes and positions and rotations, etc. that even I just could not understand at all. So it must be pretty difficult when you're inside the server, don't have the privilege of outlines and overheads that we do. So having Nomad and those air jabs will alleviate a little bit of that pressure. And you can see from USG quite aggressive. Spawn peaks as well. Don't laugh, chat. You're going to see that a lot from USG, so just brace yourself. A lot of attempts will be played.
Oh my god!
Like, there you go.
You got to admire the confidence. You're playing the best team in the league. You're playing the defending champions, and you still got the balls to do that. That's respectable. Whether or not it's going to work, we'll find out. You can already see Cyclops looking to play quite defensively, looking to punish that aggression. They need to make sure that they dot their I's and cross their T's. Kawao has been spotted and taken down. Lovely work from Cyclops on their own clear.
Great way to kick things off. Blacko with the first kill of the map, the first kill of the series, and now the ball's in the court of USG to try and bounce back in this round. They still have at least 1 Roamer on the Mozzie, 2 pests still available as well, so Perro probably needs to try and get that util out, but it's Black Gray, ready and waiting on the rotation for his second pick.
Attackers drop the diffuser.
Nice and patient here from Black Ray, and Perro walks straight into him. An easy second pick now for Cyclops, looking to really flex their muscles here, though DD does find Gatorada. The first pick for Donuts USG in this series, in this grand final. Oh, really nice attempt there from Kawu, but doesn't find anything, doesn't quite commit to the peak. DD's still holding on to Library with just 3 players left. Not a lot of options for USG, and no doubt they're antsy to try and make a play.
Yeah, I think if USG want to get back into this round, we really need to see DD step up over towards box. We're going to see aggression here from Aiko. I can't pronounce his name. Kayu. Yeah, Kawu. His name's nothing like his pronunciation.
Kayu.
Chat. So, I mean, we apologize. It's just as confusing as For us, as it probably is for you. So apologies on that one, but it does leave us in a 3 versus 3. 60 seconds still on the clock, and Cyclops yet to get control of. Backstory, of course, can be a hot spot here for the defense to hold late. But these defenders are also forced to rotate as well. Double window could be pretty exposed. I mean, literally no one's playing backstore at the moment.
Oh, this flash is surely going to make the difference here. The Candela's thrown on in by Anderton. DD to hold on and might get the better of him. Sees him pre-fire, gives away his position, and he wins it. The plant going down, the trade, potential. Oh, Rento saw. He surely saw Anderton there, but doesn't commit to the peak. Does eventually polish him off. 2v2 now in the retake. Suzu gets to a safe position. Aegator as well outside the double window. An incredibly difficult task this is going to be. Suzu does land the shot. Rento goes down. It's all on our good friend YNYN0x0, aka Akayu, who's going to have to get a 1v2 clutch against the Nomad and the Yana. Oh, okay. I did not expect him to find that pick, but this is nigh impossible now. Aegator listening. And does hear and does get the shot. A nice little one tap to close the Cyclops victory on round 1.
Yeah, it's pretty rudimentary there from Cyclops to close out that round. We saw all 3 defenders basically off-site trying to aggress. And yes, to an extent, those hatches can play into the hands of the defense, but it shouldn't be too difficult for Cyclops to clear that out and disrupt that with the Candelas and trade out the picks as they sort of demonstrated there. I think ideally the defense of USG really need at least one player in backstore. Otherwise the double window is just so vulnerable. And again, yes, it can be countered by the hatch, but if that's being disrupted elsewhere, then there's not really much you can do, and those rotations are really tricky. So a good start here for Cyclops, and unfortunately for USG, now they're on the back foot.
It did come down to a 1v1, which is after such an aggressive, such a dominant start for Cyclops, 5v3. With that plant going down, I really had not expected USG to get it down to a 1v1. At the end, impactless frags, but I think it goes to show that one of the things that Cyclops has identified as a weakness of theirs is sometimes getting a little bit too ahead of themselves, getting a little bit too over-aggressive. They want to try and adopt a more structured play style, still retaining that aggressive identity that they have, but they want to make sure not to throw their leads. It's kind of been a common theme for us this entire weekend. All of these teams, they have massive strengths in identifying opportunities to exploit defenses, to go for those calculated risks. But sometimes the calculations are off, sometimes it's an unnecessary risk. And Cyclops needs to make sure that they don't give up too many opportunities for USG to get back in the game, because USG certainly have the gun skill and the individual potential to take advantage of that.
All right, who's spawn peeking? Reveal yourself. Who is it this round? Come on. I think I can see someone over towards... Was that West Main?
Oh yeah, DD was spawn peeking the bar window.
Ah, man. You love to see it.
Gotta be someone.
Well, doesn't net anything in this round, fortunately, and no damage exchange either. Drone found, though, so that's the first taken down by DD. And I think if USG are going to continue to play aggressive, particularly off-site, they need to start finding more drones. No doubt Cyclops are a team that would have some pretty well planned out and well thought out pre-placed drones for the prep phase. And again, knowing that USG is very aggressive, they'll be more than conscious of the fact that they need to really monitor where these rotations are coming through. Parrot, bit aggressive in bathroom. Aegator spots out the black eye, not the black eye, pardon me, the evil eye from the Maestro. As Aegator holding this common repel, unable to really find much damage. Pero is picking this quite aggressively, trying to find something in response.
That's what happens when you got the T5 with a 1.5 times scope. You've got a lot of confidence to take those long fights. Also, just I think it's a natural part of being Pero. He always has a lot of confidence to take any fight, no matter how ambitious. DD's also roaming below, about to be droned out, surely. There you go, drone goes past. Indeed did spot him. He falls back. Cyclops still figuring out exactly how they're going to take this. It looks like it's going to shape up to be a Solarium push with all this presence on Trophy. There's no one hard holding the stairs, which would otherwise be a common position. The CAG going to repel on inside. Oh, but that long angle from Renzo going to make an easy kill on the repel inside. Aegator does manage to punish Pero downstairs. But still a lot of unaddressed roamers here for USG.
Yeah, now DD's looking, I think, to try and run out trench, hit the double window, so we'll see if he's able to pull that off. I don't know if there'll necessarily be run out protection on that. Possibly an air jab from Nomad. Elsewhere, Aegator does double down, so Cyclops do have the man advantage, and again, with double window held on the cross, probably have the positional advantage as well. Going to go up, I think, to Rento here to try and really go big and prevent that entry in towards Solar. Maybe even DD down below to go for a flank as well. But either way, Cyclops in a great spot. Just need to try and convert this round. And I think they've only just confirmed it, or all but confirmed it. And get to find another one.
Yeah, but the thing is, Rento's still here, still with so many options and still 2 gas babes as well. Not really a possibility for Cyclops to repel inside with these 2 defenders. That said, Gator has managed to do so in through Piano and now made this a 1v4 for DD downstairs. Plant going down. Shots with the pistol. Oh, come on, don't give him the chance. Don't let him back in this. Black Ray says, I'm going to take you down. Smiles all round for Cyclops. 2 attacks back to back.
Big round from Gator, finding a couple of critical picks there and really denying any opportunity for USG to get back in that round. Once you have those crosses held, particularly, you know, piano window and double window for a Solar take, it's always so tricky for the defense to get back into that. Now, Rento, of course, was in a good spot, possibly able to deny that entry in towards Solar, but he couldn't quite achieve that. And yeah, pretty easy mop up there for Cyclops. First 2 rounds been pretty comprehensive thus far. Again, yeah, sure, round 1 did eventuate into a 1 versus 1, but that second round was definitely a lot more convincing.
You can see Cyclops happy to play a bit slower. They didn't get too ahead of themselves. They didn't push to try and refrag too hard when Gatorada got taken down, repelling into Solar. And I think that's a mark of maturity for the Cyclops roster. Knowing when to just take it slow. Knowing when to focus more on punishing defenders and punishing roamers and punishing aggression, which is exactly how USG is going to play, rather than trying to think about some kind of multi-step process. Okay, we have to do this, then we have to do this, then we have to plan. I think that thinking more about punishing their opponent is really helping out Cyclops here.
Now, one storyline we actually haven't really touched on that I want to just, you know, remind everyone of is Unsold Stuff Gaming USG. They will be competing in the Japan League promo relegations. I believe they're later in the year. So that's a bit of a storyline to run with. Hopefully they've gained a lot of experience here in the RJC. They can transfer that across, fight for their spot in the Japan League, which, as you mentioned before, Dev, has a ridiculously high prize pool, player allowances, the whole shebang. A very exciting local program to try and get involved in. So for USG, they'll be playing the long game here, and no doubt looking to gain some valuable experience here against Cyclops, who have set the tone in the Japanese region for the better part of, or I'd like to say about 12 to 18 months after the fall of Norengu. So we'll see what they can muster.
Yeah, absolutely. Donuts USG would definitely have their eyes on the Japan League. There's a couple of strong teams in that bracket. Yoshimoto, EverE, Zepto, Crest, USG themselves. Team North Eption, Bluebees, and Gyugun will be, will be playing in that bracket for a spot in the Japan League. But of course, USG, like you said, going to be gaining so much experience from this match right here. Playing against the best way to improve. CAG doesn't mean they're going to go easy on USG here. As the reigning Japanese champions, the best team in Japan, they don't want that title to come into question as it has in recent times. Oh, another opener from Black Ray. Really aggressive start here for Cyclops. They've got control, well, particularly Black Ray has control here in Trophy. He's found a second, and Donuts USG are just scrambling. The site is so close within Black Ray's reach.
Yeah, and Trophy's normally a position on this particular objective you want to be holding to pincer down the long line of sights and angles from Fireplace, but it's kind of been reversed here. The Uno reverse card has been laid down onto the table. Black Ray has been down, and of course Selfra is no longer really an option, so he will need to hope that someone can come across and pick him up. But I think the attention elsewhere will be to drop these remaining 2 members for USG, who are looking to get aggressive, and honestly, it might be flawless here. DD taken down over towards West Main, and Cyclops get 3 straight.
A very convincing and dominating start for Cyclops. Defending their title with ease. They certainly looked more pressured when they were playing against Zepto just last night. This game seems to be just run-of-the-mill, easy game for Cyclops so far. especially considering this is USG's map pick. USG need to get back on that horse. They need to muster up some confidence, start finding rounds immediately. Otherwise, this game will not. This will be a very, very short grand final.
Yeah, the road doesn't get any easier from this point onwards for USG. I mean, I guess it does for a little bit, heading over to Chalet attack in the second half, if you want to look at it that way. But in terms of the overall veto, they're heading to the Cyclops' pick next, which it is Villa, and then Cafe. We saw them play earlier, and honestly, I don't think USG is going to do much better there. So the storyline and the expectation we've set is if USG want to win out this grand final, 2-0 is their best bet in the BO3. But the first two rounds are not instilling too much confidence, at least in myself at the moment. Cyclops, it has been clinical.
I will say, like, you're making the point, oh, maybe USG will do a little bit better on their attack. Typically, Chalet's attacker-sided. Actually, in the Japan Championship, Chalet has been defender-sided 54%. And that's over, over 100 rounds in the Japan League. I'm having a check now. Chalet was actually a dead 50-50. And then if you look more specifically at these teams, right, USG over 7 matches have a 70% defensive win rate on this map. Defense is where they thrive, even better than attack, only at 50% win rate. So Donuts USG really struggling on the defense side here is actually a massive red flag.
What are these drones from CAG? They just have 2 drones outside. Okay, why would you put them in the map and, hold crosses? Why would you do that?
It's so that you can drone out the site, mate. Cyclops looking for an opportunity to exploit.
Well, maybe if they want to go early, yeah, okay. All right. Well, we'll see what
even
gets made of it. They already just got taken down, so.
Well, it looks like Anderson's going to try and make a play here. You could see the Rotero from Flores took down the Prisma, which just gives anyone jumping in the window one less thing to worry about. But surely, like, CAG have to time this with some pressure in library.
Minute 45 left on the board. It's been pretty docile so far from both rosters. USG do have players on the road, but triple frostmat on the Nez double window. Okay.
Love that.
All right. I'm not gonna diss it. We'll see. Maybe it could catch someone off guard, or 3 players off guard if they all decide to jump in and get caught. Cyclops are playing this quite patiently though at the moment. I think they've now transitioned their focus a little bit more above, knowing that it's been aggressively held instead of going for a bit of a cheese play here. Anderson might send a Candela and smoke already deployed, but I don't think he's going to be able to play on
bait. Oh, bait out the C4 though. How's that? I'd take that trade any day. You can see Aegator actually walked straight through that proximity alarm, hasn't been spotted, has managed to get into Fireplace. Surely this execute is going to come through.
Well, the Candles are deployed as the Vault comes through. No Frostman on that window. Anderton quite safe. 55 seconds left on the board. He's going to sit at half wall and wait for the rest of the team to add on the pain. But the swing from the Renren eventually traded over towards Mud. That's Black Ray left in the 1 versus 4. It has fallen apart for Cyclops. Diffuser on the ground. DD on the hatch. And Black Ray needs to go absolutely nuclear to bring this one back.
Surely this just ain't possible. Jumping in the window, DD can find the final kill. It was a nice strategy there for Cyclops, but waving to the non-existent crowd for USG. Got to feel that energy where you can. I'm sure that some of the players are still hanging around. Some of the players from eliminated teams might be watching. USG really, it was just tiny little things that made that round theirs. I think particularly Kawhi just swinging, taking down Anderson and taking down the player on the window. Had Kawhi not landed those 2 shots, I think that round would have gone the other direction.
Yeah, no doubt. Someone from USG in that position had to step up and go for something a little bit risky. Otherwise, once that diffuser's on the ground and planted, it's like a couple of different sites in Siege and in competitive where you just kind of go, yeah, that's not retakeable. 99.99% of the time, you're not going to be able to retake that site just due to the nature of the double window being in such close proximity to where that diffuser can be planted. So, yeah, really well played. USG finally gets something on the board. Again, defense, as you mentioned previously, James, is their favoured side. So you would think from this point onwards to be a realistic chance to win out this map if it trends the way we are sort of expecting. the next 2 rounds they're not quite must win, but they're extremely, extremely important. If they need to continue to play catch up here against Cyclops, I don't think it's going to bode very well for them.
5 seconds to insertion.
+1.
Well, that definitely puts a lot of pressure on USG to deliver here. They go back to the master bedroom where they unfortunately struggled to defend previously. While they found the opening pick onto Cyclops rappelling inside, all of the other players from USG were just picked apart relentlessly, as if he lands that. That was a wallbang and a half. I would be tilted out of my brain if I was Suzu from that. That is, a fantastic read from Pero, fantastic timing, and just, I guess, really good game sense to know where to aim through the wall.
Yeah, I'm actually a little bit confused as to what Suzu was actually trying to pre-fire there, because it didn't look like the lineup for default, or even the stairs was a bit high. So, pardon?
I think it was trying to get the default cam. It might have been.
Yeah, I thought it was way
but
off though. Maybe I was just not paying enough attention. I thought he was shooting closer towards the shelving to the left. Anyway, whatever. Besides the point, good opening pick for USG. That's what they can look to play into now for the remainder of the round. Fortunately for CAG, yes, losing the Nomad is going to be annoying, as USG love to play that roam game, but you still do have your hard breach up and your Ying, so your execute is still intact, at least somewhat, but it's the likes of Gator here that needs to be really, really careful. There are roamers, there's one down below looking to make their way up the fireplace stairs, that's DD. It seems like CAG, they have a decent read in response, but again, this is taking away time and resources that are going to be critical for trying to get and execute on the board here.
And speaking of that execute, it's going to be a little bit more difficult than perhaps CAG would like when there's a Warden on the board from Rento. It's going to be able to look through any of the flashes, be completely unfazed, the smokes as well. Even the Evil Eyes can help a little bit, but there is finally a trade back. CAG have their first kill. It's Kawau going down, one of those impact players.
$60 seconds now left in this round. The man count even. Can USG hold on? Gator still down below trying to get to work. Gatorada, I can only assume, is looking to open up the wall soon. Has it already been worked? I haven't quite caught it if it has. If not at this point in time, it's going to start really becoming a problem. Double window being double repelled, maybe here by the attack. So CAG having to try something a little bit different here. Pero will off screen find one, diffuser on the ground, and that might seal the fate here for Cyclops in round 5.
But what can the Candelas do from Anderson? Surely Renren is there. Pero's just been peeking everything. He's found all the kills, the greedy guts for USG at the moment. Just 2 players left for CAG. Pero bites off a little bit more than he can chew on, and Anderson shuts him down. Gator with less than 10 seconds to go is the last one now that Anderson has been finished off. That's going to be an easy close for USG. Not enough commitment from CAG. And the underdogs find their second round.
Yeah, I think Cyclops honestly outsmarted themselves a little bit in that round, right? They lost a player early, and then for the remainder, they were sort of scrambling. And based on like the likes of Gator and their position, they were almost a little bit scared of that singular roamer, and then we're trying to cut them off, but then also decided late round to rotate. They were sort of stuck in 2 minds, I believe, at that point in time. And unfortunately, the timer doesn't stop in. You need a moment to mentally pause and reassess your plans, right? So with it down, they were then forced to like go for this weird rotation late to double window and then solo, and they did no groundwork at all leading up to that. So they were just really running into their deaths. And USG, props, they read into that. And again, a really good opening kill to kickstart some of that momentum here. And that's 2 rounds straight. So again, that 3-3 is not looking off the cards.
I think that'd be a pretty good result if USG can manage it. Definitely possible for them to then take this. Perhaps it was just a case of a bit of jitters, a bit of momentum needed. They did play a game this morning, but didn't... I guess they weren't in their top form this morning, despite taking the win against Gyogen. It just was not the best game. It was not them playing at their full potential, and they definitely need to step up their level compared to that if they're going to try and take the fight to CAG. That said, like, I think that you said it really well when it's like CAG kind of overcomplicated, outsmarted themselves. I think sometimes just playing to basics is would help CAG a lot. You know, for example, they didn't really commit to a master push, like from they didn't really commit to like the solar into master push, and they didn't really commit to like the reading into office push. So perhaps if they just simplify things, especially now that this is a basement defense, believe it or not, surely CAG could reap massive rewards.
Is it Halloween tonight, or is that tomorrow? It's tonight, right?
It's the 31st today, so yeah, that's tonight. Happy Halloween, guys.
Can Cyclops send me a jersey? I want to dress up as something scary.
That's a good one from you, mate.
Thanks.
It would be a better joke to make if they were on match point, but that's okay, I'll give it to you anyway.
Nah, they still look scary. They're still the best team in Japan, at least for now. So we'll run with it. We'll run with it.
You should have saved that, mate. You should have saved it
That
after
could be like the
the
end of match call. Nah.
Yeah.
I'll leave that to you.
I might steal that. I'll steal it. Just everyone forget what Guz just said. I'll steal it and use it later.
Stealing Struts casting edition.
Well, I mean, Guz, I want to hear your analysis here, because I know you've got opinions on this basement site.
Basement sucks, that's the TLDR. It's just really not that great. The way I would describe it is it's almost like, this is very Australian of me, but it's like a big boa constrictor, you know, like the huge snake. You kind of just like wrap yourself around the site as the attack, and then eventually like you just keep squeezing and squeezing, and eventually the defense is going to burst. That's probably the way I would describe it. You have to do a decent amount of groundwork, right? Snowmobile, back push, bit hard breach, maybe even a bit of vert as well, cut off the rotations. But it's not the most difficult of sites to do that setup. The mini games aren't particularly difficult, and once it's done, it's so difficult as a defender. It's even worse than like an Oregon basement, for example, to just find safety, be able to hit those trades, etc. So we can see Cyclops have done most of that work so far. There's 60 seconds to work with, so a healthy amount of time. I'd say it's maybe a little bit less than they probably want at this point, but they're looking all right. And it's going to be up to USG to try and throw something at them that can disrupt and dislodge this setup.
Well, there is surely a chance here for USG. No vertical game and no roam clear. Cyclops probably have not done as much groundwork as they'd like. They're starting to really pressure that site now with the breach on two sides of the site. That clash, though, is going to make it very difficult for CAG to just erupt and push in, which is what they'd like to do on the back of this E1D scan. Oh, over goes the nade, but caught by the magnet. A flash to go through, and another nade now. But DD opens the equation. Pero as well, and CAG in the final round of the half, they might fall. They might let USG back into it. Gatorada sends it deep, looks to try and make a plan happen. But Rento pushes up. Is that a flawless win on the basement for USG? That is unreal.
So the thing I was saying about basement not being good, I was talking about the attack.
Oh yeah, right, mate. Yeah, right. That's right.
Now I think the main issue there was the groundwork on the boiler wall was awful. I don't know what the thought process was behind making like those weird maverick holes. I guess it does it's a double-edged sword, right? Because once you open it up, it opens a line of sight and a rotation for the defense. But it wasn't played into properly there by CAG. The blue door was exposed but not being held. So when those players just ran in and were getting mowed down from that position, I don't quite know how that was allowed to take place. Maybe the communication there from Cyclops just not really linked up. But either way, USG, they just completely locked it down. They didn't fall into their shells in that round. They were guns up, ready to go, all pointed towards that doorway and the walls to the northeast. Got the job done, and they bounced back 3 rounds straight, and now they're actually making a bit more of a map here. They're digging deep, and Cyclops, interestingly enough, in the first round of their half, they're going to go basement as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, clearly it's just such a strong site. USG just want to, I mean, if I only had my 2 cents to what happened that round, I reckon CAG wanted to avoid roam clearing because they know that USG have got some real gunners, and they didn't want to take those fights in the room. They didn't want to waste the whole time clearing the whole map because it's, you know, very time consuming. I think that stabbed them in the back at the end. Like, Donuts USG like had so much map control, had flank potential, had strong anchor positions. It was, you know, pretty hopeless for CAG. Question is, how's USG going to go? Now that they've gained a lot of confidence, they're attacking basement. Will they commit to a roam clear?
Gatorada on the Bandit. That's an operator we don't see too much of these days. Typically, it'll be the Mute and or the Kaid for wall denial, but the MP7 historically and even currently is a very strong gun. 3-speed operator as well, so you can commit to these roams, get aggressive. Will USG clear it though? As you mentioned, Dev, Cyclops weren't too keen on their attacks to go for the roam clear, but they're pretty keen to roam themselves. There are some pre-placed drones up above here for USG and some active droning as well from the likes of DD, but I don't think Gatorada has necessarily been spotted, and you can see attackers are getting to work elsewhere anyway, so it's not a huge point of concern at the moment.
Sequential breach activated.
4 out of 6 rounds so far, USG have found the opening kill. Let's see if DD can achieve it this round again. Gatorada, I think he was droned out. Yeah, the pings come through. DD, this is a bit of a late nade though. He doesn't realize Black Ray's already gone. Side effect opens up that hatch. Oh, a long angle for Black Ray. Gatorada still upstairs as well. Suzu's about to come under a lot of pressure, and that is such a dirty angle for Pero. He finds the opener once again for Donuts USG.
Might well be able to find another, and he does. A clean shot over towards Library Stairs to secure 2 picks for USG on their first attack of Chalet. From this point onwards, it's really just a matter of converting this control.
Oh my god.
In that position, unable to find that kill. Unfortunate for him, but Black Ray is isolated by that angle over towards Trench. Forced now over towards Fireplace, which again is also being held, or is it? DD down, finished off through the wall. Maybe Cyclops can bring it back.
That said, USG have already found the 2 picks that they need. Yes, while there is 1 roamer off site, they will know because of that. Simple maths. 3 minus 1 is 2. There's only 2 on site. Gatorada says it's just mechanics, mate. I've got the long angle, traded back, and Renzo's got the info on Black Ray as well. It's all on Ayagator. 1v2, but Pero's got his number. USG have taken the lead here 4 rounds in a row on Chalet.
Whew. Just when you thought this might be a sleeper map or even a sleeper series, USG have awoken. Good start to the second half for them. And you can see pretty positive body language. They get pretty up and about when they win rounds. We saw that the earlier match today, and that trend seems to be continuing. Cyclops, though, looking a little bit puzzled. How have they let this map slip away?
I really think that Cyclops let themselves down on their attack half. I think that they really should have won that Snowmobile Wine attack. They just didn't commit to the roam clear. You can see the stark contrast, and when USG committed to that roam clear, not only did they find, I believe it was Suzu, the first player, but then they just like played counter aggression after that because they knew, okay, we've got numbers advantage, therefore Cyclops is going to try and make plays and give us picks. They got Anderton because of that. They did a lot of damage to 2 of the site players because of that. And even though Black Ray found 1, I mean, 1 kill on the roam is not enough when you've lost 2 players to it. And USG have had plenty of time to work the site as well. So now CAG have really got to step themselves up here. They go to Kitchen. They're going to try something different. And at this point, what do they need to do that's different other than changing bomb sites? I feel like they need to kind of change mentality to reel themselves in a little bit.
Attackers are heading out to defuse.
Reeling themselves in and Cyclops in the same sentence, though. It's
They're playing
every
against
day,
USG though. Like, I mean,
well,
yes,
yeah.
Cyclops is an
USG
aggressive
is another
team.
level. USG is definitely 100%. If there's like a scale of like aggression and Wild Siege, Cyclops in this matchup is probably like a 1, and USG is a 10. but in most matchups, Cyclops is often the team at 8, 9, or 10.
Oh my god!
Wow.
That was a
Wait,
nade through the
Was
drone
it the
hole?
drone hole?
Oh my god, that is nuts. Look at how close to site Pero is. He does get traded to Anderson, the double spray down. That is nice from him. And
That's
now,
another one.
I mean, surely he doesn't peek it though. That would be very, very dangerous.
Oh. Nice work from DD over towards Fireplace. Taken low from that engagement, but will win it out onto Gatorada. Now things slow down. 3 versus 3, but as I say that over towards West Main, Black Ray
Another pick.
finds a pick.
Yeah, and Akayu is about to pick the exact same thing. Black Ray's not careful, he's going to lose his feet. Oh, might be exposed. I think he has no clue that Akayu is out that window. Yeah, and Akayu knows. Just a wall bang. And while he hasn't confirmed that kill yet, there you go. Won't take long. And a breach as well onto the trophy wall. Oh no, DD. He's had a fantastic round so far. So is Annie though. Got to find 2 more kills, make this a 4K. Caught in 4K. And now DD and Akayu try and figure out how they're going to deal with Anitson. DD is very low HP, and with that incredibly high RPM of the Scorpion, Anitson, even a wallbang would be enough to down DD. Akayu's got to make sure he's there. They're down, but it's not enough, DD. That was a 4K and an insane round. USG have just run 5 in a row.
Yeah, that is a really clean shot to be able to win that. Of course, I mean, traded on the down, but obviously not a kill there. So really well played. USG, their aggression, it's finally starting to click for them. It's actually looking quite good. We were about a minute into that round, and I think there were already about 4 or 5 deaths across the server, which is just absolutely ridiculous. But USG are making it work, and I think Cyclops are looking quite uncomfortable in actually gaining any sort of meaningful or disrupting any meaningful map control. USG kind of seem to be finding these ins wherever they want. It obviously kick-started off the back of the grenade through the drone hole, which is one I have never seen before, and no doubt very scary. So we are seeing a little tricks and innovations here from USG. A storyline we've been running with today is, you know, their ability to come up with new things, and Cyclops need to be able to adapt. It is top teams in Siege that often pride themselves and often find success from being able to adapt, and now's a better time than ever. It's 5 straight for USG, and Cyclops just have no response, and they need to find something quickly to deny that match point.
Yeah, so close to that match point now. It's also just the momentum that's been developed here. Literally 5 rounds in a row from USG. 3 straight in the defense, now coming out with 2 on the attacking side. Historically, USG hasn't been fantastic at attacking this map, which is contrary to what you would think. They're only at 50-50 over the last 7 matches they've played here, whereas Cyclops actually have a 57% defense win rate. So you would think that they could achieve a 4-2 split on their half on defense. Now, if they can do so, that means 4 in a row here. That would mean they win the map 7-5. But at this rate, I don't think they've got enough momentum to really achieve that. I think USG are holding all the cards.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Twitch in play. Perro will send one in, knowing that West Main stairs was being held, but nonetheless, we'll lose the drone. Oh, Black Ray has been flashed by the Candela. No entry necessarily here. It's called Wow. We'll drone ahead. Spot 1 on Solar Stairs. That's Anaton. No engagements necessarily so far, but definitely some awkward utility being arranged here by both teams. USG, I think, are pretty keen to try and get in towards Trophy quite quickly here, but they're being denied well by Cyclops, which means that this attacking plan probably not really going to work out the way they intended, and maybe it's USG now that need to be the ones to adapt.
Really like this hard hold from Aegator. Needs to be careful not to overpeak though. And USG haven't made a lot of headway. Like you were saying, they put early pressure on Trophy and West Main, but weren't able to take that control. Now Anderson knows he's under pressure. I do see the outline of a player on that window, and he does land the shot. DD goes down. Needs to be careful, though, not to get traded back. And Perro is creeping up on Aegator's position. If he can punish that kill, this could flip on its head, and USG would have advantage.
Surely Aegator close with the shotgun wins this. Oh, the timing, though! He leans out at the worst of moments. 4 versus 4, Perro now with West Main control, but he can't win that engagement. Suzu too sharp, too clean, too aware. 4 versus 2.
A lot of 1v1s here. Both of these teams need to make sure to support each other. Anderson does punish, not enough info for USG upstairs to do a proper clear, so they get desperate. And now Akayu is the last one left, just outside of the main lobby, the fireplace. 4 players from CAG, who I would hope are happy to just sit and wait. This is the first round they have found in the last 6 played. If they can just sit down, don't get their panties in a twist, don't go and have ants in your pants, don't try run out, don't try and feed him 20 seconds, and this round is yours.
Defender has been discovered.
Oh, never mind.
swear, Cyclops are the biggest memers in Tier 1 Siege.
Anderson is such a
10
memer.
seconds remaining.
They're going to keep peeking him because they know that they've won anyway. They're just going to feed his KD.
One more. Oh,
Yes. Oh my god. That's a hashtag word. Basically, they knew that they couldn't lose. They're like, one guy just stay sight, everyone else feed, and we'll see if we can get a pistol kill.
well, Cyclops, they have found something in response, and probably at the most potent of times. They do deny match point, at least for now, from USG. And they looked quite strong there on that particular objective, doing a good job really preventing much momentum from being built in that round. They had a decent read on the push that was coming through. Got the opening kill as well, and it all compounded into a round win. Now, USG. This is the first time they've had that streak broken. Now it's up to them
Defenders,
to recuperate,
protect your bombs from
bounce
being
back,
defused by attackers.
and set their sights on getting that 6th round on the board.
USG has really flourished in the opening engagements. They've found all but 3 so far. The 10 rounds that or 9 rounds technically that we've had. CAG though, making sure that they can not expose themselves too early, and if they do, that they've got a teammate there to refrag. That's really been the kicker. That's really been the pivotal thing that they need to keep in mind. Now going back to Master, actually going to Master for the first time. Haven't been here yet for them on the defense. Kitchen Dining twice and Snowmobile Wine once. Master, I think, should be a strong one for CAG, but again, like just the nature of how both of these teams are playing, 1v1s could come out anywhere, and I think that CAG, their #1 priority really just needs to be not forfeiting like more than maybe 1 pick without some kind of a trade. They could have 1 player taking some risks, but more than that, and it's just the potential for USG to spiral is too dangerous.
Yeah, you can see the body language of some of these roamers offside. They are pretty hyper aware of a lot of these external windows and entry points and jump-ins, and basically anything USG can try and do to disrupt this roam, find the opening kill and snowball momentum from there. Gatorada was positioned up in that sort of rack corner over towards Library, but has now made his way down towards Snowmobile. I believe there's at least one other roamer here for the
Attackers have
defense
located
as
a
well,
bomb.
so couple of things, couple of obstacles that USG will need to contend with, but Pero does get relatively free passage inside of Library, now looking over towards that piano double door, so he'll be quite happy with that. And I think USG have actually quite swiftly found themselves in decent spots here to start constricting the defense.
Bomb located by attackers.
Good info here from Rento, but not really an opportunity for any USG players to capitalize as of yet. What headway have they realistically made here? CAG kind of just waiting patiently on site. It's a lovely nade though. Aegator goes down. The smoke player, DD, shut him down. No ADS to protect him seemingly. Oh, DD does get spotted out. Oh my god, out of nowhere. A couple of kills once again for USG on these external angles, and CAG have this stolen away from them. The utility burn as well from Renzo is huge.
Suzu in such a pivotal position, being lit up. If he falls here, the round is 100% going the way of USG. Unfortunately, Gatorada elsewhere does fall down, so Suzu now even under more pressure, and Black Ray, again with bathroom window and double window being held,
Oh, he's dead.
is pincered off. Wow, just peek to your right a little bit and it's a free kill. There we go. Suzu in 1v4, immediately
no.
shuts down. It's another down on the trade. USG, though, confirm that round, and finally will now get match point.
5 rounds in a row, then just a little breather for CAG, and then match point. What a run this has been for USG on their map pick. Certainly did not expect this level from them. Cyclops have looked lost. The energy from them is gone. USG, in contrast, just look at them. They're actually going to take a tactical timeout on the back of their match point. They're not using it to talk strategy. You can see that. They're using it to let it soak in for CAG. Just let them mellow in that frustration.
I think they might be talking about what celebration they're going to do when they're in the map.
Just coordinate. Okay, so you're going to put up your hand so it spells an X for X moment, and I'm going to do this, and there you go. Would be actually huge. I mean, it looks inevitable now that USG are going to take this map. It really is, and then it starts to sink in, right? Does that mean Cyclops is going to win maps 2 and map 3? Yes, this is only USG's map pick, but I feel like the CAG we're watching right now is a shadow of their former self. They've been slapped silly. They've been told to go sit in the corner, and USG is gatekeeping them from getting back out. Villa and Cafe would be the maps that CAG would need to win if they lose here. And Cafe is a map that they lost last night to Zepto.
Well, it looks like we're actually going to head back up above here for what may well be the 11th final round here of Chalet. Map number 1 is B03, Villa Cafe to follow. Again, USG last time did a great job. They got the opening pick off a grenade, and then they applied some really good pressure on half-wall. And basically, once half-wall is clear and you have someone posted up on bathroom window, which they did, and double window, every other defender is going to find it so difficult to get in a position to deny the plan, either at the breach or at the half-wall itself. It's just so difficult to get close enough to deny it, and particularly if you have players over towards the south, I mean, making your way up library stairs is possible, fireplace as well. So I think that's the nature of this site, why it's so difficult, and probably also as well why it has such a terrible win rate in the Japan League. It's only got a 35% defensive win rate. It is absolutely shocking. So it's pretty clear that Japanese teams, at least, you know, if you want to take it with a grain of salt, of course, know how to attack this site quite well. And yeah, Cyclops going to have to do something very special here, I think, to get something back.
Have we got site-specific attacker defensive win rates?
Siege GG, baby.
Ooh, that is hot. Love that. I haven't been using CGG. I've been using the old Wikipedia.
Funnily enough, it's also the most played round, despite being by far the worst defensive.
Everyone loves their master office, but perhaps it's a bit of a poisoned apple.
Attackers have located a bomb.
USG not going to take any chances here. Actually, what am I saying? Of course they're going to take chances. That's USG. That's their way. On match point, doesn't matter. They keep gonna keep doing what they can. 6-4 now, and they have taken some good control of library. DD roaming up from below as well to make sure there are no cheeky little roamers hanging around downstairs. But you can see all 5 CAG players are just like anchored to that side, with the only exception being Anderson just underneath the side. He's feeling that pressure from the Dockerby's call at the moment. But if I'm honest, I feel like USG has made some really good headway. And if they can get a breach off, find an entry, find an opening, Cyclops will be sweating.
I mean, it's literally deja vu the last round. They're playing that Twitch to scout out half full, no doubt looking to get that shock drone in, clear the ADS devices. Once the breach is blown, then Suzu is under the pump. I mean, the wall already is opened up, so Suzu...
Oh, no! This is it, surely.
Yep.
Oh! What a nade! That's 2 rounds in a row we've seen DD find the opening kill with the nade. Oh, and again, doubling down. Anderson taken down. This looks like it's going to be it, guys. I think USG have got this. 4v3, and that plant goes down. Gatorad has found one, the first kill for CAG this round, but they're going to need a whole lot more from that, and they're going to need it right now. Gator and Black Ray have got to play out of their minds to make this work, and that double window pressure is so much. Black Ray has shut it down. Kawau dropped off and down on the floor. Still 3 players to find, and that diffuser has been planted. Black Ray has got to land this shot. He's full HP. He can take a bullet. He'll take down the player holding the door, but betrayed by the Claymore. Renzo can surely put the last bullet needed into Gator. Unsold stop gaming from 0-3 to 7-4. They take map number 1.
Just when they looked down and out, USG digging so deep on their pick, able to bring it back. Wow, that is honestly just a really strong performance. I think those last 2 rounds in particular really highlighting not only some of the weaknesses on that site, but just the ability for USG to actually exploit them effectively, right? Their nade plays on both rounds was on point. Half wall just could not be held by anyone, no matter how hard they tried, and then rotating back to counter defuse the kid or retake side or deny plan just not on the cards. Black Ray on the Echo as well, not really doing much on the Yokais. So yeah, wow, Unsold stuff. Again, I thought literally they were down and out. The first 3 rounds I was like, yeah, this is going to be a sleeper series, but obviously not the case. And yeah, they're really pushing the envelope here.
Yeah, wow. I can't believe that after what we saw from USG this morning in their semi-final, where it looked like they were just walking onto site, didn't have a clear plan. We have seen a completely different beastie here in the grand final. And the current reigning champions of Cyclops are going to have to fight back. Reverse sweep from being 1 map down. Map number 2, it is Cyclops' pick. It'll be up in just a few minutes, so don't go anywhere.